Okay, so thank you all for coming today. Appreciate you being here. This is a very quick, just 15-minute presentation on the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. That's quite the mouthful, so I'll be referring to it by its acronym, which is BEAD. Quick agenda here. So we're going to be doing a 2-minute intro. We're in it now. And then I'm going to give you a very high-level intro to the BEAD program itself. And I'm going to ask you to suffer through a 1-minute shameless plug for my company, Elucidate, and we'll get back into the actual presentation. I'll do another high-level overview of the types of opportunities this program will create and how you can start positioning your business to capture them. So a few housekeeping details before we move into things. Keep in mind, this is a 15-minute presentation about an enormous federal funding program. It's going to be very high level. It's meant to introduce you to the program and help get you started. I'm not going to be getting into the weeds at all. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat, and I'll follow up with you after the event, either through email or LinkedIn or whatnot. You will get access to this deck. So, speakers. In my work, I really focus on state, local, and education go-to-market strategy and sales strategy. My mission really with my company is to help more tech businesses enter this market. Unfortunately, my co-presenter, Michael Cohen, is home dealing with a family emergency today, so he was not able to join. When he is here, he's an attorney with expertise in state and local government law, and specifically, he's helped a lot of state and local government clients through the procurement process. Okay, BEAD. This is a federal program that came about from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law of 2022. It is a $42.45 billion program designed to expand high-speed internet access to everyone in the United States. It awards funds to the states. So in this case, the federal government has awarded funds and allocated funding to the states who are then administering this program, and they'll be awarding funds in the form of sub-grants to businesses and public-private partnerships or whatnot to carry out the implementation of the program. So one thing I'd ask you to note here is that local governments are not involved in the awarding of the funds. So your cities, counties, they're not awarding any funds. However, the states were directed by the feds to work in close coordination with local governments as they develop their initial deployment proposals and as they are implementing this program. So while local governments will not be awarding any of the funds, they absolutely are key stakeholders in this process, and you are going to want to get in front of them if you're looking to position yourself for opportunities here. Let's talk a little bit about timing, okay? So the states and the other stakeholders, they've been working on this since around May of 2022. They've been preparing their initial proposals, and those proposals describe how they will use the funds that they've been allocated. Now, the deadline for those initial proposals was December 27th of 2023. All 50 states, Washington, D.C., and 5 territories submitted their proposals by the deadline. As of today, Louisiana is the first state and the only state so far that has had their initial proposal approved. More approvals will be coming soon. What that really means is that Louisiana has had 20% of their funding released to them, and they are sort of in a 1-year timeline where they have to develop their final proposal. And part of that final proposal includes the results of their sub-grantee selection process. That's where the business opportunities come from. They will be selecting their sub-grantees, those entities that were receiving funds in order to implement the program. That will be happening from the date of the initial proposal approval through 1 year after. I think it's also important to note that the activities created by this program are going to carry well on past this year, probably well into 2025, 2026. A few things to keep in mind about this program. First is that BEAD is a federal program, federal grant program. It's subject to federal oversight and compliance. The states and territories are awarding subgrants. They're not awarding subcontracts. The main difference here is that subgrants may include clawback provisions. This is where it'd be good to have Michael, but generally speaking, clawback provisions can require subgrantees to repay funding if they fall out of compliance or don't adhere to some of the regulations. Again, not the lawyer here, but it's an important distinction between subgrants and subcontracts. So another thing you're going to want to keep in mind is the general way laws work when there is overlap between federal, state, and local regulations. The general rules, you'll follow that which is most stringent, but it's something you're going to just need to be aware of because this is a federal program working with states, and you're also going to be collaborating and working in local areas. It's a very big and complex program. Don't expect and don't feel like you need to learn everything about it. If you're a business trying to do the work, you're not going to be able to, right? That's just not your role. But what is important is that you learn to ask the right questions and know who you need to go to ask them. Oh, shameless plug time. Great. This will be quick. So my company, Elucidate, we help businesses both enter and scale within this SLED sector, state, local, and education sector. Our mission really is to bring more tech and more innovation into the public sector to increase competition to the market, to benefit SLED buyers, which in turn benefits residents. Now, we run an immersion education program that teaches businesses how the SLED sector operates, how decisions are made, how purchasing is done, who you need to get in front of to really get a foothold and expand within the sector. And then we teach you how to take the information you have about how the sector operates and put that into creating a successful and efficient go-to-market and sales program for state, local, and education. Now, program attendees come away from this program, they come away with knowing how to build an active SLED program. They're able to connect with SLED buyers, they understand how to get ahead of the RFP process, and they get a good sense of what they need to do to maintain compliance while they're doing that. Now, if you want to learn more, you can visit our website, elucidate.io. You can click either of the links on this deck, which you will have access to. And you can either just go browse our website, learn more about the curriculum and what we're doing, or you can set up a call to discuss more. All right, back into the presentation. So the opportunities this program will create are going to fall into two primary buckets. Deployment, which you can think of as putting the cable in the ground, right? These are the physical elements of the program, physical deployment of broadband. And then non-deployment. These are the activities that will enable the beneficiaries, the people, to take advantage of the newly deployed broadband services. So the feds have listed what are eligible activities for both deployment and non-deployment. This is a list of some of them. This is not exhaustive. There are other things listed in documentation that you can find online and in some resources that I'll point you to at the end of this presentation. But things you'll want to be thinking about. So deployment, engineering and construction, right? Putting that cable in the ground, setting up the network itself, the physical network. Workforce training, making sure that places where they're going to be putting those cables in the ground and getting things deployed, that there's workforce available to do that. Network updates. This is big if you're an IT company, right? There will be network updates happening, and this is an opportunity for you. Facility acquisition. In some cases, there will need to be the purchase of facilities or the lease of facilities, so real estate opportunities here as well. Cybersecurity training. This is a big focus. So there's going to be cybersecurity training throughout this program. Another option for cybersecurity companies, IT companies, and so forth. Non-deployment is a bit more nebulous. And frankly, the states have more leeway in terms of how they award funding and subgranting for the non-deployment activities. There are a few things that are noted and are emphasized in the Fed's guidance for the program. First, remote learning. Ed tech companies. This is a big one. This program, a key feature is to help create more opportunities for remote learning. Same thing with telehealth and telemedicine. The program wants to make sure that rural citizens, people who live in rural areas and don't have access to healthcare in close locations, that they have access to telehealth. And then digital literacy, digital equity, user training, all types of activities that are designed to make sure the people, the residents, are able to then go ahead and use and get the benefits of now having access to high-speed internet. Okay, great. How do you actually position your company to collect and capture some of these opportunities? First thing you want to do is identify how your solution fits. What I mean by that is you need to start reading some of these state proposals, look at what's in there, look at your solution, and identify how your specific solution can help the states fulfill the objectives of the program. Then you want to put that into messaging. Start drafting your messaging. Start explaining and writing and putting out how your solution helps the states achieve the goals of this program. Take that message and connect with the local stakeholders. So yes, the states, but also the cities, the counties, nonprofit groups, other organizations that have been involved in this. You can find out who they are by reading these initial proposals. Connect with them and provide them your messaging about how your solution helps benefit the program. And then another piece you can start getting started on here is the creating a response plan, right? There are going to be RFPs, RFQs, and so forth coming out. You want to be able to respond to those efficiently and effectively. You can start getting things in place so that you'll be able to do that. A great way to get started, again, is reading some of these initial proposals, reading some of the documentation. That'll give you information on exactly what's going to be included when you do need to respond. That just about wraps up this very brief presentation. I'll leave you with some resources. There's way more that you can find online. There's just a handful of the ones that I think are most helpful as you're going down this path. Those two that I've noted up at the top are very critical. And fortunately, that first one is just an 8-page document, very quick to read, but it gives you a sense of what's going to be required of a sub-grantee. If that's where if you're a business trying to get these opportunities, you're going to pay attention to that. And then the second one there is where you can actually find all of those initial proposals. Once again, you will have access to this deck, and those are all links. You'll be able to go there, and you can always do a Google search. There's a ton of information out there about this program already. So there you go. There you have it. 15 minutes, big program. I hope this was helpful. Thank you all for coming, and look for more of these types of webinars that I'll be doing in the future. So once again, thank you for coming, and have a good day.